Welcome to another episode of The Real Pause Show, where artists share their heart about their passion for what they do. Take a moment to look over the episode's description to familiarize yourself with available links, as they will be mentioned throughout the podcast. And now, here's your host, Paul Weiss.
Just as long as you stand by me. So darling.
Sometimes it's the little things in life we take for granted, and we don't realize how the simplest joys in life can be altered until it happens to us. Fibromyalgia is an unseen disease that makes your body feel like it's on fire, or there's surges of lightning rushing through your body, and for someone who loves to sing, it can be like breathing fire. However, Karina Kantas uses it as a fuel to drive her passions even more. This world-renowned 14-time bestseller author reveals not only her love for writing, but also her passion behind the music and what it means to her and her family. And that is Karina Kantas. And that's who I'm speaking with today. So I want to thank you guys for being here today, and I hope you're as excited as I am to hear Karina's story. So Karina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Stand by me. Stand by me. Hi everyone, I'm Karina Kantas. I am from the UK, as you can tell from my accent. I am in my late 40s, I hate to say that age, and I have two young girls, 18 and 12, and a wonderful husband, and I live on the island of Corfu in Greece.
Awesome. What is it that you do, ma'am?
Oh, what isn't I don't do? I am an award-winning author of 14 books, and I write in all fiction genres. I am a multi-award-winning filmmaker. I have many awards from international film festivals for my videos and documentary. And I am a podcaster, a YouTuber, a booktuber. I'm an entrepreneur with my own business where I help authors with their marketing and promotion, because I've been in the business for so long. I've been where they are, and now I can help them. I know what to do to get them out there and their name out there. So I do that as well. I'm a graphic designer for Go Indie Now, which is a platform for indie musicians, writers, authors, filmmakers. Anyone indie does lots of shows and panels and everything for indie creatives, and I do the graphic design for that platform. And I also sing. I sing just as a hobby now. When I find time, as you can tell, I'm really busy with everything else, but when I find time, I sing.
Nice. That's awesome. You mentioned that you are a podcaster, so go ahead and give yourself a little blurb of the name of the podcast and what the content of it is.
Thank you so much, Paul. So my podcast is called Behind the Pen. It's a YouTube show and it's an audio podcast, and it's where I talk with creatives that hold a pen. So a musician, a singer, a author, an artist, designer, editor, director, the list goes on. And I have them on the show and I talk to them about where their creative side came from, how they explore it, what they've done so far, what they plan on doing. And it's not scripted. We just have a nice, comfortable chat like we are right now. It's really nice to meet all these people from all over the world with all these creativity and so much difference as well from country to country. So that's Behind the Pen. You can find me on everywhere, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and on YouTube, of course, Behind the Pen.
Awesome. Let's get into the singer part of things. When did you start singing? What was it that drew you into it?
My mum, she used to hang around bikers, so I was so into Led Zeppelin and Meatloaf. Batter Hell was one of my favourite all-time albums. I think the song was probably the first rock song I was ever introduced to. And then from then on, just rock has really been part of my heart and soul. So I grew up with that rock music. It was either music or it was my father dragging me to karaoke for the first time. My father, when he had us weekends, because they got divorced when I was young in their marriage, when he used to have us weekends, he used to take me and my sister down to karaoke. And I think the first time I had my hand on a microphone, whether I could sing or not, I think it must have been something stupid like Madonna or something, you know. I think in the 80s it was probably Lucky Star. So the first time with karaoke was with my sister. I think we sang a few songs together before I dared to try and do one on my own. And then she just fell out in love with it, and I was just so in love with it. So every time I saw my dad for the rest of my life, whether I was living in Greece on holiday or he had us for the weekend when we were younger, we would always find a karaoke bar. He loved it because I could sing, because I had the voice. He'd love to just sit there around his mates and say, look, that's my daughter. He's so proud of me. And he'd come to Corfu one summer and he'd say, have you heard that song by so-and-so? And I was like, no. He said, could you learn it for me? I think you'd be really good at it. So then I'd have like a day to go on YouTube and have a listen to this song and learn it, ready to sing it to him that night on karaoke in the local village. My dad's always allowed me to have that outlet to sing. And my mum was the one who introduced me to music, especially the rock genre.
Nice. This episode is brought to you by The Shop. Need a fresh new haircut? Check out The Shop, located in Lehigh Acres, Florida. That's The Shop, DASHOP. Check them out on Google. We now return you to the interview. And so whenever you found yourself in this music and you are singing and enjoying yourself, topically we all see, the happy, it makes us happy. But I mean, what does the music do for you? And you can answer this in two ways, because for one, you like to listen to it, and for two, you like to sing it. Is there a difference in the two? And if so, you can explain.
When I like to listen to it, I won't sing on top of it. I like to listen to it. I like to listen to the music, the guitar riffs, the vocals, the lyrics. It allows me, when I'm writing, even when I was writing a young adult fantasy, I was listening to Iron Maiden and Saxon. And that was my inspiration for writing that kind of story. It just took me away to make that magical land that I was building in my books. But when I'm singing, it just allows me to express myself. It allows me not just to be happy, it allows me freedom. When I get up there, it doesn't matter what my day's been like, no matter how bad it's been. When I get up there with a mic in my hand and I start singing, everything is gone. Everything is left behind. I just get caught up in the moment. I don't even notice people out listening to me. It's just me, the words on the screen, or if when I used to sing in a rock band, I'd just be looking at one place in the room and not looking at the people. And it would just be me just allowing myself to be free and to express myself and let all my emotions and everything come out in my voice.
That's a really awesome answer. You said that you would put on the music to inspire your writing. And my thing was classical music.
Oh, wow.
I put on classical music and my brain would just calm and I would be able to concentrate and think, and it helped to inspire. And that's probably why my music turned out more classical sounding.
I've just had the passion for rock music from a very young age, and I used to sing in a rock band. I had a motorbike, so I've always had that lifestyle around me from being very young. When it comes to writing, I mean, I've got 14 books now and I write in every fiction genre. And it doesn't matter whether I'm writing a fantasy or a young adult or a thriller, I would have rock music playing in the background. And it'd either be 80s rock that really brings me back when I was a teen, and Van Halen and Bon Jovi and all that, or it would be heavy metal like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Saxon. And It's Saxon and Iron Maiden. Some of their songs are just so epic that the lyrics actually tell a story in itself. And listening to that story and listening to the melody, it gets me just in the right frame of mind, in the right mindset to build the world that I'm building for my fantasy or for my thriller.
Right. That's awesome. You have a story to share about a little bit of a blockade you had there for a little while for singing. Would you care to share that with us?
Yeah, of course. It was certainly not a blockade. It's something that's going to carry on for the rest of my life. So basically, when I came back from England with my boyfriend at the time, we moved back to Greece and I developed diabetes, which was type 1, which meant I was taking injections for the rest of my life. Then I got thyroid disease. And so I'm thinking, what's going on here? If I was in England, would I have been ill? Is it living over here that's slowly killing me off? And then I became really ill with a chronic illness called fibromyalgia, which affects the nerves and the muscles of the body. It comes with about 50 different symptoms, from fibrofrog, which is to do with memory problems, chronic insomnia, chronic pain, restless leg syndrome, nerve damage, muscle damage. The list just goes on and on. I suddenly lost my love for writing, and I was reading like 125 books a year, and I lost my love for reading. And the only thing that I still loved doing and could do was my singing. So I would have a really, really bad day, but I would get out of bed and I would get dressed up and I would go down to where my husband works, the tourist area, the karaoke bar, and I would sing. And it would make me forget about everything, make me forget about what I'm going through. And that being able to do that every winter and knowing that it was being cut off from me because it was only the winter months, because I live in a tiny little Greek village with, donkeys and old people and olive trees and what have you. And so it was only when the tourist season was on that the karaoke was on. So I could only sing the summertime. So come the end of the winter, and I can't wait to get back out there and sing again. And so that kept me going for quite a few years. But every year, something else was being added onto my list of illnesses. I was having more problems and more medication for something else that was wrong with me. And it just kept on getting, every year something else was added on and the list was getting bigger and the tablets were getting more and more. But the one thing that I still had was my passion for singing, my love for singing, and how I felt the freedom and the emotion that came out when I was singing. And then I started getting these sore throats. Now, I do radio shows, I do podcasts, and I also do narrations for some authors. And I noticed after talking for a while, it's happening now actually, after talking for a while, my throat starts to go dry and then the voice breaks completely. I thought it was just a sore throat. And it wasn't until my producer at the radio station says to me, "You've had this sore throat for quite a while now. Do you think you should get it sorted?" And I was like, yeah, I suppose I should. I just thought it was a sore throat. Until the specialist checked the back of my throat and said to me, fibromyalgia has affected the muscles in the back of your throat. They are tired. It doesn't matter how you rest. They're always going to be tired, and you can't sing anymore.
Wow.
I broke down in the office, Paul. I just bawled my eyes out. Yeah. It was the last piece of me being taken from this damn illness. It was taking the one last thing that I had that allowed me my freedom and to be me. And I was damned if I was going to allow that.
Right.
Really. You can say that. I could go and get a second opinion. I don't know. This is a specialist. He knows what he's talking about. I know I had a problem with my throat. I know I did. And so I believed everything he said. So I didn't need to get a second opinion.
Right.
What I decided to do was just not give up, not allow that last shred of Karina to be taken away from me. This illness is so deliberating. You can no longer be a housewife. You can no longer be a mother to your children. You are trapped inside the house. And if you do go out, you're using a walking stick, and that's bad enough for someone like me to walk around with a walking stick. COVID, of course, stopped me leaving the house. So that was this good excuse of not going out.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and plus, that's not something you want to catch.
So I said to myself, there's got to be a way around this because I can't not sing. This is my life. I can't not do it. Me and my youngest daughter, who is an amazing singer, checks after her mum. We went through YouTube videos. Before I had the problem with my sore throat, I was singing Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I can get up to those notes, even though I was a rock chick as well. I could still get up to those high notes of those female vocalists. I had to look for songs that I knew that I could sing either before my voice tired out, or so it wouldn't use too much effort of the muscles, or songs that I could sing with my daughter and then leave her to do the high bits and I'll stick to the low bits.
Yeah.
Through the winter, we practiced and we found, I think, a list of about 20 songs that I was sure I was able to do on good days and bad days. And so come the summer, armed with my paper with my song titles on, we got dressed up, we went down the karaoke and I sang.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And now a quick word from our sponsor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. With everything you need in one place, let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started today. We now return you to the interview.
The guy at the karaoke, when I told him the situation, he either didn't believe me or he didn't understand, because he set me up for a song which was Black Velvet by Alana Miles. And I used to be able to do it.
That's a
and I said to him, I can't sing this anymore.
Yeah.
I showed him. I sang the verse, absolutely beautiful. I got to the chorus and my voice just cracked. Yeah. And he looked at me, he couldn't believe it. He was like, I said, I told you. And I gave him the microphone back. He did try setting me up again. And then to prove to myself, I don't know why I did this, but to prove to myself that I still had it, I entered the World Karaoke Championship.
Nice.
Which was done online because of COVID. They have every country that's taking part has their competitions going on through the months. And then they finally have their final three of the country. And they're the ones that are put into the actual contest. Well, because Greece didn't have their own team, I was allowed to put up a audition video. So I took my time finding which song to do, something nobody else would have picked, something very unusual, and something that I knew I could sing and hit the notes. My audition one was Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
How it happened, I don't know, but I got through to the semi-finals. And then the next song I did was Peggy Lee's Fever.
Okay.
Remember that one?
I'm not familiar with that one.
You want me to sing
Not
it,
by
don't
name.
you? All right. Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You recognize it?
Nice.
You do recognize it.
I don't know that one. I'm surprised. What era is that?
Oh, God, Peggy Lee. It could have been late 50s.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't know that one.
Yeah, no, I don't know where it's from, but I think maybe someone else brought out another version of it, and that's why people knew what it was. Yeah. But so I put that one in, and I got nil points for it. But the scoring was terrible, the way they scored. They scored like the Eurovision Song Contest, where only out of 22 countries, only 10 people were going to get points.
What?
Yeah. With the Eurovision Song Contest, they go 10 points for this, 9 points for that country, 8 points for that. So you've got all those countries, but only 10 of them are going to get points. Well, that's the same what they did with the Eurovision World Championship. And then they had the favoritism. So everyone tried to get all their family and all their friends to vote for them on the video and what have you. And of course, the best person who has more friends, more people will get points for that. So I had no chance with that. But it was a good experience and I enjoyed it and I had fun. And then I just don't know why, but I've entered it again this year.
Hey, there you go.
Why not? Why not? And I did a video of singing an acoustic version, which I hope they put that extra points for me for doing that. I didn't want all the drums and the synthesizer behind me. I just wanted it pure. It's piano and my voice of Creep by Radiohead.
Ooh, I love that song.
That version, though, the version that I have, it's just so pure. Yeah. If you make a mistake with your voice, you can hear it. There's nothing around with drums and a guitar or anything to fade you out.
You have that one recorded?
That one is now up on the Facebook page for the World Karaoke Championship. It's up on there.
All right. Do you play any instruments?
No. I tried at school with the oboe. I tried with the violin. I tried with the piano. I'm not a musician. I don't write songs. I can just sing them.
Right. No, that's fine. I'm just curious. I always ask that question. And now a brief message from Ophelia on how you can contribute to the podcast.
If you enjoyed what you heard here, please consider supporting the podcast with a monthly contribution. To contribute, just click the link in the description of this episode or visit The Real Paw Show on Anchor FM.
I'd like to say a thank you for my contributors, and I would like to welcome you guys to contribute as well. You can click the link in the description of this podcast and donate $1, $5, or $10 a month. You can also do a one-time donation by going to trps.us, and I have on there available for you to donate on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Thanks in advance for your contribution. Where is this going? Where do you think it's going to go?
I sing for me now, basically. I sing when the karaoke opens up again this summer. It's going to be a short season, mind you, but when it does, I will be down there. If I'm able, I'll be down there every night singing, again, songs that I know I can do. And I do that for me. I have not a very stressful job, but I work 10 hours a day for my clients online, and then I have insomnia, so I'm lucky if I sleep 2 hours a night. After like 74 hours, I'm zombified. So if it's a good night, then I'll get dressed up and I'll take my little one out. We'll have something to eat in the resort, and then we'll go down the karaoke bar where her dad works and we'll sing some songs. We've been practicing some new ones ready for the summer, so that's good fun. I think if a lot of people, if they'd gone through what I've gone through and didn't have the support like I have with my amazing family and the outlet I have with my virtual family online, then many wouldn't be here now. Many wouldn't have been able to cope with it. I thank God that I do have the family that I have, and I do have the support online, and I do still have the outlet, my voice. Thank you. I prayed so hard after the doctor told me that I found a way to carry on singing and do what I love and enjoy it. And, if my voice breaks, then I sing another song instead.
Right.
Something else I didn't mention before, being in the village, especially with the tourist area closed in the winter, we have a local choir, and we raise money for the homeless people and the orphanage in Coffee Town for the kids. And over the years, we've raised, I think, about 12,000 euros just between us, little group of girls. We go around the village, we do Christmas carols, and then we go to Coffee Town and we go around all the shops collecting money and doing our Christmas carols there. They've got about another 4 or 5 decent singers in that choir. And when we're the ones keeping it going with the harmonising and everything, and then the other singers are joining in to give us the meat to the song, it can sound beautifully. Like Come All Ye Faithful, when you've got the death count part of that hymn. We're doing the death count and they're doing the normal sound. And together it's just so beautiful.
Awesome.
So we do that in the winter as well. So it's not just karaoke in the summer, it's singing in the choir in the winter. I mean, we have people come at Christmas when they start doing the fairs and the bazaars around the schools and around places. We have them calling up our choir. We call her choir mistress, but she's just one of us. We have them calling up her and asking, can you come down and sing for us down at the bazaar? And we're like, yeah, Of course we can. You know, if it's going to collect money for the charity that we're collecting for, then yeah, of course we'll do it. And that's great to perform actually in front of an audience and not just around the streets. We sat out outside Marks Spencer's. It's a chain, it's a department store in the UK. And we have one in Corfu because there's so many English people living in Corfu. We covered, except for the entrance, we covered the steps and we had a big speaker and we had microphones set up. Oh, the sound was just so sweet. People just stopping from their Christmas shopping and listening. It just made me feel so good inside, you know, watching everyone listen and then clap and then put money in the tins. And
yeah, for sure.
You've got a voice, you know, you've got to use it, whether it's use it to make you feel better or to use it to make other people feel better. It's a gift.
Yeah, for sure. In both the last two episodes, that was mentioned how that when we sing, how it affects other people, and how that even when you sing something for yourself, someone that hears it may get something from it that you didn't even intend, but they got it. If you have a voice, use it. If you know how to play. If you know how to create, using the computer to edit and produce and do it. And I want to get the underdogs too, the people who aren't really talked about in the music field, like the producers and the sound engineers. Nowadays, it's getting to where the singers are all of it.
No one wants to sign a record label anymore. Everyone's doing it independently. The authors, the musicians, the artists, they're just they're fed up with everyone's just taking a large piece of the cake, and it's not fair. They had their chance to treat their labels and their artists with respect. Amazon are going to lose independent authors if they're not careful because of the way they're being treated. The music business, everyone I've spoken to on my podcast, nobody wants to sign with a label.
No, not. I mean,
it's not worth it.
I've had 13 people I interviewed, and only one of them was kind of like, well, no, two of them. They were basically saying, you know, I would go with a label, but there would have to be some kind of guidelines as to this is where I want your stuff to stop and this is where I'm going to stop, you know, because they don't want to lose that creative fingerprint they gave it.
But again, they don't even need them. They don't even need to sign that contract. They can go it alone. They can do it because people, records, the radio stations, they're looking for independent artists. They want to find them. They want to play their music. Spotify allows independent artists to put their music up. SoundCloud, put their music up there. Why to sign a label? It's just not worth giving somebody a piece of the pie, you know?
I guess I probably kind of did in a way. I'm not sure. But like this website I signed up with called DistroKid, they take my song, they distribute it everywhere. Once I put a song on DistroKid, it goes out to Spotify, iTunes, all of them. The only drawback to that, though, is that streams are pennies on the dollar. They're not even a whole penny.
Yeah, but is that because they're taking the piece of the money, or is that what you get all the time, whether you did it yourself?
Well, Distro does not. Distro says, we don't touch your money, you get 100% earnings.
So why are they doing it?
I'm thinking that it's probably because the 0.002 is somebody who has a paid subscription to Spotify, whatever it is. They all work the same, I'm pretty sure. You don't get a whole lot when people listen to it unless you're getting into thousands upon thousands of people listening to your music. Then you might see.
It's exactly the same with us authors, Paul. I get $1 on a paperback book that I sell.
Yeah.
And I'm not contracted, and that's what I get as an independent author. We sell our ebooks at 99 cents. Can you imagine how much we get when someone buys that?
Well, it's better than my 0.002.
We don't do it for that, though. You know, it'd be great if we had an agent and we had a contract, or we were an independent author and we were making royalty checks with 5 figures. You know, every author, every musician, every artist dreams of that happening, but reality check, it doesn't happen to hardly anybody. And so the reason we write, the reason we make songs, the reason we sing, the reason we play instruments is for us. It's because we have to do it.
Right. Yeah.
It's part of our character. It's part of our soul. It's part of our passion. And we do it for us, you know. If someone then goes out and spends money and buys something of ours from that creativity that we've given them, then brilliant, bonus. But if they don't, we'll still carry on putting books out. We'll still carry on singing songs.
Yeah, for sure. Earlier you had said that is the dream, to make all that money. And I think that is probably where the glamour of having a producer and getting into all that, because then you're like, put a little bit of money into this and you'll get a bigger return. I don't think it always works out.
It used to. It doesn't now. And the record companies, I mean, they know that there's no such thing as record companies anymore now. The labels are all disappearing because the artists are taking themselves off and doing it independently. They had their chance and they didn't treat them right, and they took all their money. They left the artists penniless. So the artists went bye-bye. And, you know, we're doing the same. We're doing the same when it comes to publishing our own books. It's a lot of hard work because we're marketing and promoting ourselves as an artist. And so if we want to sell a book, we have to work to sell it. It doesn't sell itself. We don't get hardly anything back for it. We certainly don't make a profit for the amount it costs to actually write and publish a book. It costs thousands.
Right.
It's not free. Right. So to make that back, it's very unlikely for some people.
I do know a little bit about that as far as the audiobook side of things. I had an author approach me and asked me to do the narration of his, I believe his son was 6 years old at the time.
No.
And he had written a book. And it was his first book. And so his dad approached me and asked me if I would be willing to do the narration for him. Of course, because I work as a produce clerk in a local store. They're a customer. So
Aww.
I know the family. And this little boy is adorable and smart as a whip. Of course, he's got a book written at 6. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And it was literally like a 4-minute book. But I put my all into it. I made my voice like aliens, and I did different sound effects and stuff to it. And he said that his son just lit up when he heard it. So that meant the world right there. That was worth every bit of it right there. But I know what you mean, though, that it is the same, because the return on that is, you know.
I call it pro bono. I don't know how you would call it normally, but I use that term. I do a lot of pro bono work for authors that have been totally ripped off by vanity presses. Their book is out there, and when I've looked at it as an ebook, it's just a mess. You cannot read the words. They're all squashed up. When I've looked at the paperback book, the illustrations aren't with the right page, and the writing's missing an illustration. What they've done, they've took the money from that person, told them, we'll give you everything, your name in bright lights. They've paid the money, unfortunately. They've took the book, they haven't edited, they haven't formatted, they slapped it together, stuck a cover on it and put it out to Amazon and said, there's your book, thank you for your money. And so what I've gone and done, I've gone in and by sending them a very professional letter, I got them out of their contract, I got their manuscript back, I found an editor that did it for free. I did my own work. I actually rewrote the book because it wasn't in correct grammar. His illustrations were absolutely amazing. So I did the rewrite of the book. She did the editing. We did the formatting. We put everything together. We put beautiful illustrations with his illustrations. And I put it together, put it out there. I said, your book's out there now. Awesome. And the letter he sent me saying about it, the testimonial he gave me for my site, when you do something like that and you get that feedback back, and it just makes you feel like, yeah, I did a good thing there. And I'm happy that I did that. And I'm happy I spent all my time and effort doing that, because he needed that to feel good about his work again, to feel good about his book, to be proud of something that he produced, not that crap that they put out there.
Right.
So, yeah, I understand totally about pro bono and helping other people. And I also believe in karma. If you help someone, then it will come back to you sometime.
Yeah, I can't argue with the fact that putting out good receives good. The more I talk to musicians, the more I find out every single one of them have something they struggle with.
Do you know that nearly every author I know suffers from depression?
Mm-hmm.
I have a special group of writers. 90% of them have some mental illness, chronic fatigue, chronic illness. There's too much of it around now.
Yeah.
But I think it affects creative people more because of the thought process and the way that we think. And I think it has a negative and a positive outlook to it.
I think that it actually is like, okay, it's kind of therapeutic. That's obvious.
Yeah.
But it allows us to basically verbalize without verbalizing. There's stuff that we cannot think of to say that when we play,
come out in our art.
It's coming out of us. So it's kind of like a poultice, basically. It's pulling all that stuff out of us and being created into this song.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that many creatives that I've spoken to, like you said, all over the shop, have some sort of mental, not illness, but just either depression or, I don't know, there's so many different words for it now. There's so many different things out there now.
Down way of saying it is some kind of a roadblock.
I think it's when we face the darkness and we get into that mindset, that's when the gold comes out.
Right, the determination.
I truly believe that. That's when the gold comes out, whether it's writing, whether it's making up a song, whether it's illustrating. When you get to that point where you shut everyone out and you're in your little bubble and you're in your darkness. And if you can get out your darkness, great. Some people find it easier than others. But what you produce when you're in that depression, it is gold for creatives.
I use that word a lot, actually. I'll say that on TikTok when I go across a singer that I like. I'll be like, wow, your voice is gold. All right, let's do this. Let's have you give a little blurb.
Okay, everyone, I am all over the internet. You can Google my name and you will find 75,000 different links, but no, don't do that. Just go to my Linktree page. It has all of my socials. It has all of the links to my books, and you need to go out and buy a book because they are bloody brilliant. And it has all of the links to all my web presence, my website, my BookBurb, my Goodreads, and all places like that. So you need Linktree, which is linktr.ee, then --line, one of those, and then Karina Kantas, which is KarinaKantas, all small letters, and you will find every single one of my links that are online on that one page. And I hope you'll pop over to check out the books. You can get them everywhere, Apple and Kobo and Nook, and for your e-readers, or paperback from the usual bookstores. And hope you like the singing. That's something else I was mentioned. That's what I was here for. I hope you like my voice, and that just know that this is the best I can do now with what I've been given, and I'm not going to waste it. And I'm going to carry on singing, even if it sounds bad, because I enjoy it and it makes me happy.
And I love it. I love that. That's what this podcast is all about. And for you to go to her Linktree, you can also go to the website trps.us, and in the keywords box, type Karina. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Paul. It's been wonderful.
You're welcome. It has been a pleasure.
The Real Paul Show is recorded, edited, produced, and published by Paul Bice. I am your host, Paul Bice. Periodic co-host is Jeremy. I will from time to time bring on random co-hosts, and they will be announced immediately following this segment. Ads are read by and Ophelia Leon. Music behind Ophelia's ad reads are written by Paul Bice. The Real Paul Show podcast is a TRPS production.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of The Real Paul Show. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. And remember, do what you love with no regrets.